Welcome back to the Signs of the Southland podcast presented by From the Rumble Seat. And for the third time that we are recording this, I am your host, Akshay, and joining me today from the lovely old civil engineering building is Jake Grant, Ethan Kreger, and Cade Lawson. How is everyone doing tonight?
Rather full. I ate too much.
Rather sad. I watched too much sports.
Rather exhausted. I went to Athens, and unlike them, I changed up my adjective each time we recorded this.
I was following the leader.
Wow. All right. After a couple of audio miscues, we're back. We have depressing sports to talk about, but also some fun sports to talk about. So to start us off with the fun stuff, Mr. Grant, are you ready for the fastest 5 minutes on the flats?
Sure, let's go.
Mr. Lawson,
Yep.
ready, set,
2, 1.
go.
All right, guys. We had two non-rev sports in action this week. Women's basketball, women's volleyball. We don't have men's volleyball, so that's kind of redundant. But anyways, women's volleyball was at it twice. They got swept twice. First by number 10 Pittsburgh, the best team in the conference, 25-19, 25-18, 25-10. Nothing particularly much to say about this. They held around. They hung around kind of late in the first, but other than that, kind of got their doors blown off as the game started to end. They played great when they were keeping it close in the first, but otherwise didn't have enough to keep pace with one of the country's best teams. It wasn't a terrible showing, but it was a sweep. They never won a set. That's kind of sad. They looked a lot better against Louisville in the regular season finale, also on the road. Still got swept, but played two really tight sets to end the game against a well-regarded Louisville team. They took the second set to extra points, which is more than I could say about Pittsburgh, or even the home match we played against them, and they're pretty good at O'Keefe. And then lost 25-21 in the third set. All in all, we don't really know what's going to be up with them the rest of the year. The NIVC hasn't announced their slate. That's kind of the postseason NIT, but for volleyball. So we're really kind of in the dark as to what happens there. But if that's indeed the end of the year, we saw some positive steps, I'd say. What do you think, Ethan?
I agree. Yeah. I think they started to look better in the last game.
All right, that's good. Yeah, no, they kind of hit their nadir to open up ACC play after starting so strong. You start 13 and I don't care what it was, off season, or was it 13 or was it 11 in the non-con? I don't know. Not important. I think, yeah, they went 6-12 in ACC play. So yeah, no, they kind of fell off there, but got 11 wins non-con. That was pretty good. If they can, I don't know, find what Mariana and Michaela and the rest of them had the first month and a half of the season, for a whole season, they'd be in the postseason. But that's enough about that. We can digest that more when we know if they're going to be playing next week. In other news, we had women's basketball in action. They were in Cancun Challenge. Didn't get to watch either of the games, but the stat lines look good. They won both games comfortably by 15 against George Washington and
Idaho State.
Quick maths. Idaho State. I was trying to do the math on the line in my head, but it's not the time for math. It's the time for sports. They wound up winning by 23. That's what it was. Their defense looked good based on the numbers. They were forcing a lot of turnovers, especially against George Washington. Neither team that they played was that good. There were better teams in the tournament. I think we kind of got robbed with this draw. But you know what? They won the games that they needed to. You can't do anything besides win the schedule you're given. And to be 5-1 coming back to the States with a win over the number 14 team in the country, that's pretty exciting. So we'll see what happens when they go up to Maryland this week for the ACC Big Ten Challenge. That's gonna be a tough game. Maryland's number 7 in the country versus number 10 in the coaches poll. I want to say, not that matters too much, but we got a good slate this week, and then they come back to play Georgia State over the weekend on the road.
About a minute and a half left.
Yeah,
Come on,
that
roll
should be
through.
a dub. All right, so women's basketball played well. Francesca Pond, shout out to her. She broke the 1,000-point margin, 31st in program history. But yeah, so they won the games they're given, 5-1. Any other notes? Cross country's done for the year. They did great up in Madison. Track and field will be starting soonish. Both tennis teams are on break. No news from softball. We'll talk about men's basketball later. We got no news for baseball. And then in swimming, just a clarification on last week. Third fastest 400 IM in the country belongs to Kyle Klempidis, and the fastest 200 medley relay time in the country belongs to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. So, men's swimming looking good. They also possess the fastest beat cut in the nation in an event that I forgot to look up before I started this 5 minutes. Hashtag deadly medley. Georgia Tech is deadly in the medley. Deadly medley. Remember that. We're good at that.
30 seconds.
This is great. And of course, this turned into me rambling about swimming, because what doesn't? All right. I think we're going to call it there with 20 seconds. 20 seconds to spare, and we'll get out of here just that much early.
But where is swimming headed next weekend?
Oh, Greensboro. That's your house.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Also the noted favorite place of Syracuse head basketball coach Jim Boeheim.
We do have a nice pool. I don't know if Bayham would agree with that, but we do have a nice pool.
Their pool has ventilation problems, and that's fun too.
Really?
It does. I'm concerned if it were to be the future host of the national club championship, but USA Swimming clearly didn't find any issues with it because it is a gorgeous
I
place.
thought it was fabulous as a 12-year-old in city meet, so that's important, right?
I mean, it's nice enough that the ACC's hosting conference there this year, I think. So,
Yeah.
or at least it was there last year. I think they'd go back to Greensboro. We know how the ACC feels about the state of North Carolina. So,
I don't know. They moved the basketball tournament up to Brooklyn to placate Mr. Boeheim. So,
hey man, I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, no, Greensboro, fun place. Give Krager a ring if you're ever there. Just kidding.
that'd be a little
Absolutely.
creepy. So please
It would
don't.
be a little weird, but I would hit you back.
I hear that he hangs out at the local Bojangles, but that's just
Just a rumor. That's just a rumor.
Speaking of Bojangles, I've been there twice in the past week. I feel like you'd be proud.
I'm very proud.
That's kind of disgusting.
I thought
One
you were gonna say it
was-
was dry like our football teams performed.
Oh,
Speaking
segue.
of football
segue.
and
Competing
speaking of
segues.
Bojangles,
Competing
segues.
yesterday morning in Athens, I went to Bojangles. Yesterday afternoon in Athens, I watched a football game. Don't
It
ask
was-
me what football game, but it was a football game.
I don't think it was a football game.
Hey man,
Massive.
Wanye Thomas is great. That's my one sentence takeaway from that game.
All right, so we're gonna do the one sentence takeaway thing.
No, we're not,
No.
because Cade has plenty to say,
No,
and I'm not going to
everyone
let you
should.
have this. But
I have a lot to say, but a lot of it is mean. It's the thing where if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
That's true.
Akshay has manners. This is good to know. Good to know.
Banter. All right,
Banter.
All right.
Mr. Lawson, you get.
The light just turned off.
You get. Let's see. I'm gonna put you on a timer because I know how much you are not pleased with yesterday. I'm gonna give you a minute, and you're gonna vent.
Okay, let me start with the fact that when have I ever had so much to say that I need to be put on a timer? First of all, and second of all, it was the worst first half of football I've ever seen in my entire life of watching Georgia Tech. I've seen the worst half, and it was in the NFL, and I won't go into any more detail than that. But they couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't run anything. I think this is a quote from DeAndre Walker, who plays for Georgia, and he says, he said the Georgia scout team ran our offense better than we did. And I kind of believe that. I mean, I definitely believe that because there were more missed reads by Taquan than there were good reads, because there was one period where I think there were 3 or 4 in a row that were all bad. I thought they were going to hang 70 on us, but they only hung 45, so it was only a 45-21 game, which is miles closer than I expected it to be at halftime.
Merciful.
Yeah,
All right,
it
I'm
was
gonna give
merciful.
you-
It was merciful. Kirby Smart was merciful and pulled his starters with like 12 minutes left in the
All right,
third
I'm gonna
quarter,
give you
which is
another
horrible.
minute.
That's
Another
embarrassing.
minute to rant.
You can't come into a rivalry game and lose that badly. That's so embarrassing. They pulled their starters faster than we pull our starters against FCS teams. It was awful. There was nothing redeemable at all except for Wanye's one return. Like, legitimately 0 people did their job well enough to be noteworthy.
Other than Wanye.
Okay, fine.
And then they just didn't kick him the ball the rest of the game.
Okay. It was bad. Then I have another Kirby Smart quote, which says, people talk to him about not wanting to face the triple option, so after the game he said, if you don't want to face it, just beat him every year, and eventually you won't have to. And he's right. And we'll probably see the fruits of that rightness eventually, although I don't think it'll be this season.
All right, you got 10 more seconds.
It does not get worse than it was period, ever. Do I have 6 more seconds? Okay, 5.
5.
Never, ever, 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 ever seen a worse game ever. That was all my time.
At least you didn't have to go there. Oh my goodness.
Well, you also did that of your own accord.
I went to that game. I walked in the stadium. Oh my goodness. I was cocky. I was ready. I was feeling the 4-game win streak.
This is why
The UGA fans in front of us left before the game even started. That's how fed up with us they were. It was amazing.
and you
Immediately I regretted everything, as both the adrenaline and the food and the drink and, the sleep began to wear off, and I was just exhausted in every possible way.
The place I'm getting all these quotes from is the comments on a UGA website, and they pointed this out to me. This game was so bad that Sting Talk, one of the Georgia Tech forums, shut down. Like, it's gone. It's not there anymore. It was so bad they shut down their entire website.
R.I.P. Sting Talk.
we're laughing because
never knew.
we have no other way to process this sort of
There
trauma.
was, and I count in front of 2 sections of Georgia Tech fans, 12 security guards protecting the hedges. I did not want any mementos from that game. No, sir. But, gotta make sure the invasive species gets...
Idiot's
Hey.
gonna idiot.
Justin
Stay
Fields
there.
only threw for negative 13 yards. Garbage. What a bust.
Ugh,
No way he's going to be good.
5-star, more like no star.
9
Wait, how
yards
do you
per
throw
play
for
in the first half.
negative 13 yards?
You play against an elite defense. That's how. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Nathaniel Woody.
Jake Fromm had 13 completions for 4 touchdowns.
Jake
Which
from
is great.
nowhere. He's not
Jake
from
from-
State Farm. I don't want to hear any more of this Jake from State Farm nonsense. That's my bit.
Holyfield and Swift did nasty things.
I think Georgia's offensive line did nastier things.
It was just
They,
not a
I'm
well.
not sure we got any defensive linemen in the backfield in that first half. I'm not sure.
I'm
we
not
got
sure.
any
There was
wide receivers.
there was one defensive lineman that was running up and down the field because he was guarding a wide receiver on a play that turned into a touchdown. I
For
don't
the
know if to
record.
raise my voice, but
Line-
that was
linebacker-
absurd.
Linebacker.
Yeah, for the
But
record, it
Rose
was Brant Mitchell.
It was oh my.
There was also a point where they pointed out Brandon Adams, and he proceeded to bust through everybody and then just completely whiff, which was... You could feel the announcers, they were so excited to be right, and they were like, Adams breaks through, and then he just, falls. They're like, oh, never mind. It didn't work.
We just have a very morbid sense of humor on this podcast.
It was cosmically horrible that I then had to spend another 4 or 5 hours watching the SEC network to get my eyes on the best game of the year. Because that was just cruel. I had to listen to more SEC announcers. And as soon as the game ends, oh man, all these eyeballs on SEC network getting their eyes on the best teams in the country. I don't care, SEC network. Stop the love fest.
The worst part was our team on that obvious targeting that they didn't call targeting,
They
mooning
celebrated.
the entire camp, world.
I
It's
know.
like-
I don't understand that either.
Why?
If
You
I would have
concuss
had
the
an
guy,
axe,
and then you start fist pumping on the sidelines while down by 21 points. What are you doing? I know who you were, and I would say your name, but you have another game to play. What are you doing?
if I would have had an axe, I would have chopped down the chapel bell. But I didn't have an axe.
It almost happened
But
in
I
the
do have an
70s.
axe to grind, and I'm not mad at the team. Don't look at this as Jake is mad at the team. I'm not mad at the players. I'm not even really that mad at the coaches. I'm just mad
Yeah.
because
I'm just mad.
I went to Athens, and not the students. The students were fine, but the random fans proved me being an idiot on the internet right.
Did you get barked at?
I got barked at. I got yelled at. It just wasn't I've been to Clemson, and that was a fun that was a nice time. We got whooped. It was raining. It was cold. I was miserable. But I've never been. I don't know.
Humans were not made to bark.
Human.
I got one thing to say
It
to
just-
you.
it
Let's
just-
see if this
it-
if this
If
audio
it
clip
just
plays.
means more in the SEC, then them being assholes just means more too.
Oh wait, it didn't play. It didn't play over you.
That's too quiet, Akshay.
I'll put it in post. But you get the idea. That was
We looked sluggish, slow, and unprepared on Saturday.
we look like
That about
we
sums it up.
Also, their stadium architecture. Cheapest crap I've ever seen. It's just concrete. It's not even painted concrete. We have bricks. We have steel. We have the best grass in the world. And they've got a bush. and they've got unpainted concrete. Sorry, that doesn't mean much for the football part, but like, don't tell me Sanford's some cathedral to the sport. It's not. It's the cesspool of the South. It looked like a giant toilet bowl, and people smelled just as bad.
I mean, let's also remember the fact that on their, I think, first drive of the game, everything was starting to go well, and they had like 3rd or 4th and 1, I think, and then Taquan's helmet got pulled off on a pretty obvious face mask. Well, it was a face mask that brought him down, and then his helmet got pulled off. So then Tobias comes in and falls at the wrong snap.
Hold on. It's not just that he false started. It's that everyone else moved.
Everyone else
was
because
on
he came in with the wrong count.
Yikes.
The center had no clue what was going on either.
And then every single time, Taquan took a few sacks in that game, which was not his fault. But what was his fault was running 15 yards back to take the sack every time, and it was always on 4th down.
I'm not sure he knows that he's actually allowed to throw the ball.
He is allowed.
Kids.
That man is not going to be. Never mind.
Jake is as written on our whiteboard here. Gus Bus just for
I don't know what
context.
that refers to. I believe it's referring to Gus Edwards of the Baltimore Ravens, probably.
Gus TT Showbiz, the extra T is for extra talent.
My bus driver in high school was named Gus. I guess that's what it's referring
to.
That's
there
so
we
fun.
go.
Fun and exotic.
He would have not done that badly at quarterback.
Don't count your chickens
He
before
might have
they're
gotten
hatched
his
there,
dive
bud.
grades a little better.
I don't know. Just put in Sean Spence-Star and Gus TT Showbiz. If there's any psych fans out there, I got you covered. Anything else on football, guys? I could rant about how much I did not enjoy my other parts of my trip.
I will say that the Saturday night slate of games was possibly the best couple of hours of college football I've seen in a long time. You started off with Notre Dame USC, which despite USC losing, they were in it until probably really late in the fourth quarter. And then you head over to...
They could have driven to win it at the end of the game.
That too.
They would have executed that kick.
That too. But, Notre Dame still pulled it out. And then you head over to SEC Network to watch LSU, Texas A&M, which was if not the game of the year.
I got another question. SEC Network only had one commercial, and it was the commercial for the LSU Texas A&M game. So it was literally Ed Orgeron saying, "It's a big game for us, go Tigers," over and over again, and it was awful. Actually, it wasn't. That was
it as bad as LSU's band going like,
"Wee woo"? That was awful.
Wee
Okay,
woo.
everything about LSU was rough yesterday.
Especially the part where
They got beat on the mid-range jumper as time expired. It's a tough way to lose. 74-72.
Especially the part where a Texas A&M staffer punched the LSU alum with Parkinson's.
That wasn't pass interference. That wasn't.
Wait, hold on.
Wasn't a catchable ball.
We're talking about the guy with Parkinson's.
I know.
Hold on.
I didn't have anything to add, but I wanted to get that in there so the internet knows how I feel. I'm really passionate today now that I've woken up from my stupor.
One of them was Jimbo's nephew or something.
No, it was Jimbo's nephew. But yeah, after LSU, Texas A&M, you go to Holy War, BYU, Utah. In that Utah came back from 20-zip down at half and really gave the Cougars a hard time in the second half. I think the final score was 35-27. And then from there, you went to Boise and Utah State, which was very, very fun. Except that Boise scored twice at the end to pull away.
Let the record stand that our whole staff was very active during the Texas A&M LSU game.
It was
fun.
And
then as soon as it ends, Akshay starts hyping up for
round
7 of football a day, and it's just dead. And it's just Akshay talking into nothing.
I was watching Holy War. I was keeping an eye on Holy War during the end of Texas A&M LSU, and it got spicy right as LSU Texas A&M ended. Because Utah had scored to tie or go up right as that game ended, But from Boise, Utah State, you head over to SDSU, Hawaii, which was the last game of the night, and Hawaii just barely won because SDSU couldn't convert their 2-point
That game
try.
started at midnight, didn't it?
No, it started at 10:30. But LSU's game went long. That was a 5-hour game. But yeah, that's all I got to say on football. All right, what's up next on the docket? Basketball? Basketball time?
Yeah.
Cool. So, men's basketball played Texas Rio Grande Valley.
Texas Rio Grande Valley on Wednesday and Prairie View A&M on Friday. Beat Rio Grande Valley, I believe, by a final of 72-44 and Prairie View by a score of 65-54. The GTRGV game, the Vaqueros only made 2 field goals in the first half and none in the last 16 minutes of the first half. So the defense was outstanding. The halftime score was 42-11. Tech did a great job of rotating defenses, matchup zone, 2-3, man-to-man, mixed in some other stuff too. Really kept the Vaqueros off balance, and they really, really struggled from the field. Second half, the defense loosened up a little bit in the UTRGV. Had a little more success from the perimeter, shooting threes and also driving. I think they actually outscored us in the second half. What was it, 33-30? So that's probably something the team will want to tighten up, but I understand with a big lead playing a little more conservative. And then on Friday against Prairie View, really, really slow start.
Very slow start.
Struggled to get open looks on offense. The ball wasn't moving. The ball was sticking. There were too many dribbles. Then we got into the second half, and I think we trailed by 10 with 12 or 13 minutes to go in that game until then the guys finally woke up, made some shots down the stretch, got some big stops, started driving the ball instead of just taking threes, which were not falling on Friday, and wound up with a double-digit win. What'd you guys see?
I didn't watch it.
The Vaqueros had a very weird pattern on their jerseys, and honestly, I'm never going to understand what makes that, okay. It was just very strange.
It was weird.
Aside from that, I think it's been the same shtick with Georgia Tech basketball this season, starting out very, very slow and very, very cold. And then eventually someone gets hot, and then it kind of spreads around to the rest of the team.
I, for one, enjoyed our second annual matchup with the Vaqueros. We beat them only 78-68 last year. So
You up 68 at that team.
Yeah, so this is a good step, I guess, a good sign. Even with that, we still were without Okogie at that point in the season. But yeah, no, Georgia Tech was at 2-1 after a loss to Grambling when we beat Vaqueros by only 10 last year. So I will take this result, even though I didn't get to watch it like I did last year.
I was confused because I forgot who we were playing, and so when I checked the app, I saw we were losing to a team that was abbreviated PRV. I was like, oh, Providence, that's not bad. And then I clicked it. It's like, oh, that is bad.
The defense looks good. We could knock down just a few more shots and have a little less dribbling from some of our guards out on the perimeter and keep the ball moving around, keep the defense moving. I think we'll be okay.
I think we just have to get started earlier. There's no two ways about that.
ACC, you walk into Cameron Indoor, Dean Dome, even Little John Coliseum or whatever they call that place now, or
John.
Yeah,
No, it is Little John.
No. They've removed all.
No, Little John is in.
Little John's in Clemson.
Yeah.
Little John's in
John
Clemson.
Paul Jones is the name of UVA's arena. But wherever you go in this
didn't they take down John Paul Jones?
No, it's still there. And then
Whatever.
Anyway, wherever you go in this league, if you start off shooting poorly like that and you get buried real quick, 20-5 or something, it's tough to come back.
Yeah. They head to Northwestern on Wednesday.
Heading Northwestern on Wednesday. Wednesday, either Tuesday or Wednesday. And then they're down in Miami against St. John's on Saturday. St. John's is undefeated. They won their preseason tournament up at Barclays Center last week with a couple good wins over California and VCU. Northwestern hasn't had quite the same luck. They went to they played in the Wooden Legacy. They got a couple wins, but also got beat real bad by a Fresno State team that is mediocre at best. So both games are winnable, and ideally we'd like to get at least one of the two this week. Get a win that will travel as we go on in the season and head toward March.
For the record, JPJ is still there. It is University Hall, which I forgot they replaced almost 13 years ago now.
Yeah, it's
So
been a minute.
yeah,
That is,
sorry team.
That is almost as long as it's been since UVA has beaten Virginia Tech too
Football,
in football.
yes. They are better at doing it in basketball, which is the sport
Man,
we're really talking
UVA
about.
aside, UVA was your one chance. Your one chance.
Have you watched the same UVA team this year that I have? They're more athletic, more talented on offense, and better on defense. Look out for that team.
No. I was talking about football.
Oh.
I was talking about
I
football.
thought you meant the
UVA.
number one seed team last year.
UVA, it was your one chance to beat VT in
Oh.
probably the next. Actually, no. VT does not look good.
VT trended downwards, buddy.
Yeah.
VT
We'll
trended
see.
downwards.
Rumors
It's their
of
best chance
Bud
this year.
Foster and Justin
They're like-
Fuente not getting along. We could be in. They could be in a little soup of turmoil there.
I guess when you don't win the rivalry for 3-4 years in a row, it's not a rivalry anymore, right, guys?
Oh.
You sound real triggered, Akshay. Did I say something?
Try 2 years in a row, kid.
All right.
Anyway, what's next? Oh, we're talking about football again. Wonderful. What bowl are we going to?
Belk!
Please tell me it's
Belk.
Belk.
Not actually, but hopefully Belk.
Belk against
Belk would be
Auburn.
nice.
You heard it here first.
That's the extent of this segment. We're just going to say Belk a lot.
Belk.
Modern Scion style. I've been thinking of hashtags for you, Belk Bowl.
Belk.
You better come through for me.
They
We've
didn't like my tweet. I said I wouldn't rob their store when we went up there, and they didn't like it. They usually like
Oh.
people's tweets, but they didn't like that one.
Wonder why.
That might have been a little
Wow.
spicy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm better at loss prevention than they are. Dang.
We here at the Scions of the Southland do have an obsession with the Belk Bowl, and as nice as it would be if the Belk Bowl would take us this year, it's looking more likely to be another destination like Nashville for the Music City Bowl, or
Ooh,
El
that's
Paso
fun.
for the Sun Bowl,
Ooh,
or
that's less
even
fun.
Shreveport for the
That's
Independence
even-
Bowl.
that's
the least fun.
If we fall past Shreveport, it'll be Detroit for the Motor City Bowl.
I'd rather go to
or
Detroit
whatever
than
they call it now, the
Shreveport.
Quick Lane Bowl.
I would
Quick
would
Yeah.
110% rather go to Detroit than Shreveport, and that's just because I'm greedy and I could get there.
I'm
but
not sure many people would agree with that sentiment.
Ford Field is nice though. It's better
It
than
is.
whatever the hell that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
play in
It was
Shreveport.
real nice on
Hey.
Thursday. Go Bears. Go Bears.
What
They're on a
team
mission
is
from Gad.
Shreveport?
Who is it Lafayette or Monroe that
I
plays
don't
in
think either
Shreveport?
of them play there.
They play in Lafayette and Monroe, respectively.
I think they only use that stadium for the Independence Bowl.
That
It's
is
not very big.
not-
I've watched the Independence Bowl. It's not very big.
Reminds me of when I went to whatever UAB stadium is for the
Legion
Field.
Legion Field for the Compass Bowl between Ole Miss and Pittsburgh a few years
Oh,
ago.
wow.
That's an old field.
That one's
Legion's
getting
getting replaced.
renovated. Yes.
Well, they had to
That's
take down the upper east or upper west or upper north. I don't know. One of the uppers.
Well, you named
because
four
it was-
of them, so
it
which
was-
one is
It
it?
was literally falling down. So, that's fun. That's real
That's
fun
good.
to go.
Let
to.
it be known that Bama did play half of their home games up at Legion Field until the turn of the century.
Iron
So-
Bowl used to be at Legion Field for a long, long time.
Yep.
Also, we got an update, which is that Independence Stadium is home of Louisiana Tech.
Ah,
Forgot about them.
They're not the Raging Cajuns. Who are
They
they?
are.
That is ULL. They are the Bulldogs. I
Bull-
believe.
Oh, God.
Aren't they? I think they
I
are.
don't-
They are. They are.
I don't think so.
Well, we're
Akshay is a genius who's never wrong.
Yeah, they're the Bulldogs.
Akshay is a genius who is never wrong.
your words, not mine. Speaking of never being wrong, let's talk picks.
First off on picks, Akshay was wrong.
Womp
Oh
womp.
my gosh.
So was Ethan.
The first thing that came up as I'm researching Louisiana Tech's mascot is Shreveport officials saying that their mascot is not missing, but he died of negligence. Oh my gosh.
Man,
At least
today's just been weird.
at UGA they have the decency of letting their dogs die of inbreeding, but natural causes.
Yes, they have an air-conditioned doghouse that they'll get to enjoy for 1.5 full football seasons before they get
Oh.
the bucket.
If he could open his mouth, he would bite you for saying that. But
They
It's
lost
so
the ability.
saggy. I saw them take him away, and his mouth was just like all the way down, like down his neck. It was my
Just like
poor
their
thing.
fans.
That's a sin against nature.
There's a lot of things about up there that are sins against
It's the
nature.
Habsburgs of dogs.
All right, so picks.
speed round. Forgot about this part.
Speed round? All right.
Speed
I
round.
picked Northwestern versus Illinois, and Northwestern did not cover. What was it, like 8 points?
Akshay is a genius and
Wrong.
knows everything.
Wrong.
I picked the joke at Doke 2, and I won because they covered. I think.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida
Yeah.
covered. Florida way
Florida
covered. The
covered.
line
They
on that was
super
4.5.
covered.
Line
Yeah.
on that was 4.5.
I don't know how
Florida
it was
won
that
40
close.
to 14.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. It was 24, but even then they still would have covered. Oops.
I took the battle for the Palmetto State, also known as the Lesser Carolina. I took Clemson to cover
Boy.
26.5 and only won by 21.
Dude, that game sits up very, very strangely, very positively for Pitt next week.
I don't think so.
no,
You can
I
never
don't
call
know
a
about that
rivalry game.
That's
You
also
never call a
true.
rivalry game.
Rivalry voodoo BS.
Pitt isn't
Like I
very
always
good.
say. All right, Mr. Lawson.
I had Liberty, New Mexico State. I said New Mexico State would. I think I said they would win outright. They didn't, but they did beat the spread, so I was half right.
He's going to call it a win. All right.
Good teams win, great teams cover.
Ethan, let's start with you. What do you got this week?
I'm taking VT's sellout to Marshall to get win number 6 that they pulled a couple weeks ago just in case they beat UVA, and they did happen to. So Marshall is getting $300,000 to play this game on Saturday in addition to a home and home the next couple years. So Marshall does get a home game against Virginia Tech out of this deal.
They
And
might ODU.
$300,000.
They might straight up ODU VT in this game
the line
and
is
the home
only
and home.
4 for VT at home. I'm taking Marshall to cover and to win.
Ooh.
VT out of a bowl.
Ooh, spice.
Wow.
Spicy.
Spicy. Marshall does have a bowl game already. They have 7 wins.
Yeah,
Correct?
they're not bad. They're not a bad team. I think they're 7-4. Yeah.
All right.
All right, Cade.
Cade,
East
what you got?
Carolina at North Carolina State. I was reminded of this game because Ruffin McNeil is the defensive coordinator at. Where is he right now? I forgot.
Ruffin
it was one of the
McNeil?
games
Somewhere
last
big.
night. I think it's Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah.
Where the wind
Yeah.
comes sweeping.
He was his teams were terrible on defense when he was at East Carolina, which is why
But
I
they
thought that was
won.
funny. But they won because
winning.
they were like pure air raid and they
Yeah.
just blew people. Like they killed Virginia Tech a couple of times.
Yeah.
But East Carolina, North Carolina State, ECU wins straight up. There's no doubt because North Carolina
If
State.
they win that game, it'll be like 77-70.
Bell.
yeah,
Belk.
they could do it.
Belk.
All right,
Belk
Mr. Grant.
did beat UNC, so
Belk
there's
Bowl versus
precedent.
East Carolina. That's not even the right tie-in, but it's happening.
All right,
All right,
Akshay.
Mr. Grant.
We have a joint pick this week, don't we?
All right, big game. We're going back to the Bay Area where the fires rage on. Yeah, womp womp.
What's the line?
Line is Stanford by 2. Give me Stanford and those 2 points.
I will take the home team, Cal. I think this is the Bears' year. Stanford's down. Cal's not particularly up, but home field advantage. They want the axe. They've been waiting
Let
2
it
extra
be.
weeks.
Let it be known that Cal has not held the axe for 8+ years. So
Let it be known that I don't know.
I thought y'all were
Go
talking
Cal,
about
go
the
Bears.
SEC. I
Go
thought y'all were
Bears.
talking SEC championship when I saw a big game.
No.
no. That's a crappy game.
We're talking about schools where the students don't care, where the fans are complacent.
Oh wait, this is
and,
this is Cal
and
Stanford.
the nerds.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we could have done alumni version for this too.
Yeah.
We blew it.
We could
We
have.
blew it. That was a hit
Yeah.
that one time.
Uh,
We censored
The
all
nerd
of it, but it would
wars.
have been a hit.
The nerd wars, Cade.
It would have been a hit.
We'll bring it back for the bowl game if
The
it ends
lo-
up being Stanford
The
Northwestern. or
losers
something
at
cool.
Stanford versus the dorks in Berkeley. It'll
Stanford
be a good game.
versus Northwestern in the not the Rose Bowl, but could have maybe been if a couple other things swung their way.
Is Stanford? Wait, what is Stanford's record even this year?
8-4.
Okay, and Cal's at
7-4.
I don't think they're
8-3,
that
7-4.
good. I don't think they're that good.
Cal is
They might be
not
six-
good.
They might be 6-5.
Cal is going to make a bowl game, but they are not good. Give me Stanford minus 2, and we will see you after championship weekend. Maybe. I don't know. It's finals week on the flats next week.
Go Bears!
We'll see.
Both the golden kind and the monsters of the midway kind. Da Bears! Go Chicago!
Go
That's
Tigers.
all.
All right. Go Jackets. We'll see you next week.